officer has taken command of the garrison, succeeding Colonel Brendan Gallagher. According to Fort Bliss, the Fort Bliss Garrison's mission is to provide comprehensive base operations support to ensure the readiness of the 1st Armored Division and all tenant units. The garrison is responsible for everything from infrastructure, public works, and housing to emergency services and quality of life programs. Well, Soyka, Garrison Commander at Fort Bliss. Colonel, thank you so much for taking the time and giving us some insight into your new role here at Fort Bliss. I know you're 2 months into this, a place that you're pretty familiar with, having led the 1st Battalion, 77th Armored Regiment. What has been a priority of yours through these first 2 months now?
Well, first, thank you, Andy, for having me on. It's great to be on KTSM. Really, my priority has been to get to know this place from a different role. So I have to say I was here from 2019 to 2022, and I had the opportunity to be here a year ahead of this as the Rear Chief of Staff for 1st Armored Division. So I got to know a lot of the people and get to know the city, but learning the role of a garrison commander is vastly different than what most Army officers get to do. And so learning that role that is probably most akin to being a city manager in a regular city takes a lot of work. And so I've had some great teammates that have been taking me around to help me get to know it from that side of the house so I can do the best to help support our soldiers and our families.
For our viewers at home who might not be familiar with life on post, especially at Fort Bliss, what is the role of a Fort Bliss garrison and what does it mean?
So a garrison and a garrison commander in specific, as I said, is very akin to a city manager. So the Department of Emergency Services that you would have in a normal city, Department of Public Works that you have in a normal city, I have those. And so that is keeping our families safe, making sure the infrastructure is maintained, making sure we take care of all of our buildings and that sort of stuff. The thing is that are a little bit different is I also have a Department of Plans and Training that runs all the ranges that are here on Fort Bliss. So we're slightly bigger than the state of Rhode Island. We're at about 1.12 million acres, and a lot of that is our training area. And so those guys help us build readiness for all the units that are here on post. And then I also have a Department of Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. And they, among other things, run our child and youth services, our school-age services, and it's equivalent of about a small school district, as we have about 5,000 kids that are involved with our children's programs here on post. So managing all those different things to improve both the readiness of our units and the quality of life for our families.
And I know another part, you just mentioned it, about the Fort Bliss Garrison's mission is to ensure readiness of the 1st Armored Division. How does everything you just described in your role help soldiers and units achieve readiness?
Well, I think it's a couple of different things. First, we have, as we spoke about, all the ranges. You can shoot everything from a pistol to a missile here on Fort Bliss. We actually had a Japanese missile shoot here just this past weekend. That training and the readiness for training is huge. The other piece is the deployability of our soldiers. And so here on Fort Bliss, we have a large airfield, Biggs Army Airfield, as many people have probably seen when they came out to go see the Amigo Air Show. And that airfield is, at one point, was the 7th largest in the U.S., an alternate landing site for the space shuttle, actually. That ability for us to project power from there and from our railhead allows us to move a brigade combat team of about 4,000 to 5,000 soldiers in about 96 hours from here to anywhere else in the world.
The primary Homeland Security facility at Fort Bliss, of course, is East Montana Detention Center that is operated by ICE. It's made a lot of headlines. Fort Bliss's 2nd Brigade is also deploying to support the border mission. How does this affect life at the post and readiness?
Well, so I will say first off, having the Joint Task Force Southern Border team down here, and we have about 1,700 soldiers deployed here from other posts, camps, and stations across the United States, has meant that we had to adjust some space on post and try to find places for folks to both live and to train and to do maintenance. We've done that. It did make it a little bit more crowded down here, but we're doing some great work to try to manage their quality of life and still give them some readiness. As far as the Camp East Montana, That site is an ICE facility that they're using our land, but quite honestly, it is not connected to the main cantonment area and is really focused on ICE's mission. They run the security, they run all of the workings inside of that camp, and the contract is an ICE contract. From the Army perspective, there are no U.S. Army soldiers that are living out there working. So that hasn't really affected our folks very much as far as quality of life or anything like that here on post.
Something else I wanted to talk to you about is over the past couple years, we have seen a real emphasis at Fort Bliss being more involved in the El Paso community. Why is that important?
Well, so Andy, I think many of your viewers know we're intricately connected with El Paso, and whether that's our school districts, because we have several schools that are in El Paso ISD that are here on post, Bliss Elementary and Milam Elementary. We also have many schools that are on Fort Bliss land that are off post, or that's literal connections of our electricity, our water. All those things are tied together. And our communities are as well. Over 70% of our military families live off post, and a lot of them work off post. So the two communities have to work together. And Mayor Johnson and County Judge Samaniego, they also say, you know, Fort Bliss is El Paso is Fort Bliss, and we are trying to make sure that that is not just words, but that's reality. And so we do a lot of things with the community. For example, just the other day we had over 200 of our soldiers out from our Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers program, working with El Pasoans fighting hunger to try to help the El Paso community. We also are doing some great projects with UTEP on advanced manufacturing. And we're looking at some other things with the community right now on how to repurpose some of our existing land to be able to make things that are good for both communities.
Certainly an experience there on post. Colonel, thank you so much for speaking with us today, providing some insight into your new role as the garrison and your mission. We certainly appreciate your time with us.
Hey, Andy, I want to welcome you back out here anytime you want. I'll figure out a way to get you to ride a tank if you come on out.
Hey, I'm going to take you up on that offer, no doubt about that. Colonel Michael Soyka, Garrison Commander at Fort Bliss. And coming up, Republicans are ready to pass a continuing resolution that would keep government employees paid